you're not allowed to kill this sperm or the fetus or the baby inside the womb. The minute that process has been achieved and it's gone through and the mother is pregnant, it's haram to touch it. That's it. You're not allowed to kill this sperm or the fetus, even if it's 1 month old. It's haram, and there is of course, penalty you have to pay, some grams of gold and so forth, depending on the age of the fetus. It's haram. But the Western world fall and are falling more and more in this crime against the humanity. There's actually statistics from the World Health Organization, the WHO organization. They say that there are between 40 to 50 million abortions worldwide a year. Imagine. They are killing 40 million human beings every year. Why? Of course, the majority of these abortions, they are formed with, of course, non-halal relationships, of course. Because if I have a family, if I have a wife with aqd, with the correct nikah, then why should I kill my child? He's my child. Of course, I'll be proud of it. Yes, I'm going to have a new child. But because of the haram relationships, that will end up that they have to actually get rid of this fetus. So the best form of families is, or the form of structure is the family life. The best form, as the hadith says, the best form, structure that was made is the family life. Without it, this is the situation in the Western world. No families, no, I remember my neighbors, the boy comes and he takes the girl outside, and the father waves to them both. That's their life, basically. Their aqidah, their life. I mean, we cannot actually blame them. This is their the culture that they live in. But of course, we can play a big part as Muslims in this country and in Europe and in the Western world in general, that we can at least divert this act of, wrongdoing, of course. At least to make them, to inform them that Islam, for example, emphasizes on the family life, the bond between the husband and the wife, and to avoid breakups, to avoid unlawful relationships, which will end up, of course, as you can see, the HIV disease and so forth. That's the result of not following and obeying Allah's instructions, either in their religions or in Islam, because they actually departed their own beliefs. Is this the advice of Isa alayhi salam or Musa alayhi salam or other prophets? They ignored the teachings of even their own books and their prophets and saints. Even the hijab, if you look at the history, the hijab, for example, was in Christianity and Judaism, some kind of hijab. Now, where is the hijab within the Christian community, or even the Jewish community? It's almost disappeared. So the Islam was saved, and it was on the brink of following and pursuing the Christianity and Judaism as well. But with the blood of Abi Abdullah al-Hussein, the Imam Salamullah alayhi saved this great religion from corruption and deviation. That's why we actually gather in this majlis and commemorate this great Imam, to pay respect to the Imam, that he saved us, alhamdulillah. Now we have good families, mu'min families. Imagine if the Imam wasn't there and Yazid was overtaking the whole empire and the corruption and na'udhu billah. So we have to thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He gave us the grace of Islam, ni'matul Islam, and the ni'mah of the wilayah, ni'mat wilayat Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad salam. Quran emphasizes on the fact that it's haram to kill your children. Do not kill them. It's a great sin. It's a great sin and will end up to, na'udhu billah, hellfire. Without following the right people, the right religion, the communities and societies will not prosper in terms of religion and belief. Yes, they might prosper in terms of the world life, money and business, but without following the guidelines of the divine religions, they won't be able to proceed to a real felicity and happiness in this world. One of the best countries of the world is Sweden, and when you look at the statistics of suicide, it is one of the most countries that their citizens commit suicide and they kill themselves. Although it's one of the best living place, a prosperous place to live, they respect the human rights and so forth, and the social welfare and so forth, but still they lack of spirituality and faith and religion. And that's very important, that we, alhamdulillah, by all those bad news from the Middle East and the anxieties the Muslims saw and faced, but alhamdulillah, with this belief in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His Prophet and Ahlul Bayt salamullah alayhim, and these rituals, the prayers and the fasting and majalis and attending prayers, jama'ah, that will actually boost and increase our spirituality and our faith and our belief in the future, that there is a life after death. So we apply the sabr and patience to ourselves. Because the other side, they don't have patience, so they commit suicide. We have the patience, sabr. We try to apply the sabr and to basically avoid any kind of, na'udhu billah, hating this life and then na'udhu billah, committing suicide. That's away from the mu'min and away from the wise man, the person who has aql. He must stay away from even thinking about harming himself.
We even have a clinics, special clinics for
the mental, and yes, they actually treat mental illnesses and so forth. صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. So marriage and family life is an instinct as a fitrah in the human being. We are based in ourselves, in ourselves, for the desire of getting married and forming a family. It's part of our life. It's part of our living. You cannot depart the other side, and the other side cannot depart this side. This is Allah's sunnatullah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And as the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "An-nikahu sunnati," it's my tradition. فَمَنْ رَغِبَ عَنْ سُنَّتِي فَلَيْسَ مِنِّي. And whoever departs the sunnah of the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he's not part of the Prophet. Like those priests who do not get married at all. And you've been hearing the fasad within the church, the relationships between some of the priests and young boys and so forth. Na'udhu billah. When you depart the human nature, the need of the humanity naturally, then you'll fall into some kind of corruption. Islam is one of the most closest religion to the act of nature, respecting the nature, but of course in the halal way, avoiding the haram, of course. There are borders and red lines within the Sharia. You can enjoy, you can take as much as you can, but within the halal border. Let's look at the marriage of Ali and Fatima salamullah alayha, for example. What a humble marriage it was. The Imam salamullah alayhi, he brings the dowry, the mahar of Fatima salamullah alayha, which was only 500 silver dirham. I tried to calculate with today's money. The 500 silver dirham is almost 1,200 grams of silver, of pure silver. And with the cost of today's the market, it's almost 500 pounds, 400 to 500 pounds roughly. So imagine dowry, mahar, do not exceed 500 pounds. I don't know how much was in the time of Ali alayhi salam. So humble mahar, but they lived this peaceful life and happy life as a husband and wife and children. Today, you can see the mahar